I was wrong. I wouldn't bring him on my NFL team. He's got problems. And I want to let everybody know that you do understand if you listen to that video, not just watched it. The police officers, I believe it was in Hollywood, Florida. Mm-hmm. That's what he said. They showed incredible restraint. He was calling them the B word. He was calling them the N word. He was yelling at them. I mean, they turned their backs. They walked away. All they did was take the young lady and the kids into the cop car, and they drove them off. They did not respond to him. They did not antagonize him. They did nothing. He was screaming at them and calling them all kinds of names. I want everyone out there to understand that the police officers at any given moment could have turned around and arrested him. You don't get to talk to police officers like that. You don't get to berate them and think that that's not a crime. You could actually get arrested for that. They could have arrested him. They did no such thing. They all walked away. They got into their cop cars and they drove off. And he was screaming all kinds of obscenities at them.
In front of his kids.
In front of his. He seemed completely out of control. And again, understand this, ladies and gentlemen, it's a bad look. But for you yourself to put that on video, for the world to see, while you're supposedly trying to get back into the National Football League, how does that possibly help you? You forced your way out of Pittsburgh. You get in Oakland, and regardless of the stuff that was going on with the bad feet in France and everything else, you ultimately go up to the general manager for the Oakland Raiders, named Mike Mayock. You lambaste him in front of his team, okay? You get yourself in trouble. You're supposed to meet with John Gruden for dinner. You stood him up. Drew Rosenhaus, I believe, I'm not sure, but I think it was Drew Rosenhaus that got them on a three-way call, and they're talking. And at that particular moment in time, John Gruden reminds you, I don't want to let you go. We want you here. We traded for you. And at that particular moment in time, it is a Thursday evening, Max. All Antonio Brown has to do is be quiet, shut up, don't say a word until that Tuesday. And that Tuesday morning, his $29,125,000 left on his contract would have been guaranteed over the next 2 years. He couldn't shut up. He goes on social media. He gets let go by Oakland. He gets picked up by the New England Patriots. You are there for a week. Another allegation comes out about you, sexual assault allegation, okay? The Patriots inform you, stay away from the person and stay off of social media. What does he do? He goes on social media attacking the girl, okay, for everybody to see, which is when they let him go. Then he goes after Ben Roethlisberger, who, by the way, we all, including myself, owe an apology to, because, my God, we can't say a damn thing about Ben Roethlisberger after seeing what we've seen from him, Max, okay? He goes after Ben Roethlisberger. He goes after Robert Kraft, comes back, apologizes weeks later to Robert Kraft, and then decides to sit up there and attack people again. He's all over the place. You can't predict anything. You don't know what you're getting. And the one thing you do know is that you can't trust him because he's so addicted to that camera phone and so addicted to being on social media. You never know what he's going to say about you next. You got to stay away. I'm sorry to say it. I really take no pleasure in saying that.
Posting it to social media is the key, and that tells you there's something wrong.
Right.
Because the reason you do that is because you think it shows you in a good light and the other party in which you're in a conflict with in the wrong. You know, it's like what he did with Juju Smith-Schuster, where he posted stuff that Juju had sent him that actually made Juju look good and sympathetic and made Antonio look like a jerk. There's an expression, read the room. He can't seem to read the room, except that the room he's in is a social media bubble of his own creation. And I think this actually gets into our politics a bit, because when public figures and elected officials and leaders think that it's okay to do things, commit crimes even, and then live in a social media bubble of their own followers where they're the hero almost no matter what they do. It sets a bad example. And I think Antonio Brown, well, you might look at him as a public figure and a leader in this way. And so he's actually the perpetrator of that. But he's also probably getting messages, like that we all get, like, oh, this is how things are done now. He can see the way our culture operates. If I have enough sympathizers in my little social media bubble who are going to enable me and make me feel like I'm always the good guy, then I can appeal to them. And then no matter what my behavior is, it's okay. And Stephen A., what that tells me is he's not well.
You've been saying it for months.
And he is under the impression that bad behavior will come across as good behavior and will somehow put him in a good light. There is no way. Even his claim, it seems to me, if you watch the video, his claim against his baby's mother is that she's a problem and she doesn't get to drive his Bentley and she has no way to get the kids to school, so that car is not for her and all this kind of thing. Well, first of all, the rest of us stop and look at that and say, whatever the case is, you're doing that in front of your kids who, by the way, apparently need to get to school, right? And the reason that's fair game for even me to say right now, which I don't like saying, is he's broadcasting this.
Exactly.
So everything about that, the posting it to video, even he's trying to exploit a racial angle. Look, this is how it happens. Again, to get sympathy, to get to the idea that the supposition there is that people will sympathize with him. This is not a sympathetic video for Antonio Brown, but he thinks it is. Something is wrong.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.